Brett, can you hear us now? Brett? Brett, can you hear us now? Okay. He's not loud and clear, though.
Yeah, he said loud and clear, but
We couldn't hear you very well.
okay, let me change the.
No, we'll try to tweak it. Can you try again, Brett? Oh, that's even worse.
How about now?
Try again.
Yep, check 1, 2. Andrew, can you hear me?
Yeah, that's better.
It's okay? Like normal?
I think so. Try it again, Brett.
Yep. Hello, check. Can you hear me?
Okay, you're a little faint.
Still a little faint.
Is there anything we can do with the mics there?
Is it his mic or?
Yeah, how's it coming through?
Let me see.
How does this sound, Andrew? Is this a little bit better?
It's not great.
How about that?
Now try.
Hello? Can you hear me? Check.
How about that?
Try again. Nope. Try again.
Yep.
Okay.
Can you hear me okay?
I'm ready. Try again, Brett. Try again, Brett. No. Try again.
Yep. Good morning, Andrew. Can you hear me? Is this better at all?
No. I think we'll probably just work with this. If you can just try to speak loudly into the mic.
Yep. I can move closer and try to speak clearly and loudly. So.
Yeah, sorry.
Hopefully it won't.
Try to summon your anger and get loud.
Okay, good morning. Welcome to the Public Service Commission's rulemaking for 86. So actually, let me take appearances on this just real quickly, and then I'm going to talk about a path forward. So if we could start with whoever wants to start, just.
I'm on the end, so I'll start. Damon Krieger on behalf of Southern Maryland Electric Cooperative.
Thank you.
Spencer Nichols on behalf of Washington Gas.
Good morning, Jessica Reba on behalf of the Potomac Edison Company.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. Nicole Zeitner on behalf of the Office of People's Counsel.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. Matthew Seegers appearing for Pepco and Delmarva Power.
Good morning, Laurel Peltier, Maryland Energy Advocates Coalition.
Good morning, Chair and Commissioners. Catherine Moriarty, Assistant General Counsel on behalf of Baltimore Gas and Electric.
Good morning, Chair and Commissioners. Peter Wilson on behalf of technical staff. With me is Eric Delgado, and Mr. McAuliffe is expected when he can get here. He's on the other side of a block tunnel.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, I heard about that when I was coming in this morning. So, okay, so I have read the obviously the proposal we put forward that started this initiative, and I read the utilities and other parties' comments on it, and then this morning I read a fairly extensive filing from the Office of People's Counsel. So I want to suggest a path forward on this, and my thought on this, and this generated with concerns that I had with the termination regulations, and I've been dealing with this issue for most of my career, starting with the individual that the room's named after when we initially started this. I think it's time for us to do a fairly substantial review and revision of the existing regulations regarding billing, collection, and termination practices. There are certain areas that I have particular concerns about, and one of those is the summertime situation. When I reviewed the regulations, it appeared to me that the summertime process that was in place almost looked like it had been stapled on to the regulations. It was not nearly as extensive and detailed as what happens in the wintertime. And I think part of that is because there was a perception that the wintertime was a dangerous period for individuals, but I think what we have found is that the summertime can be as dangerous or more dangerous when it comes to customers' health and well-being. And I had some discussions actually with the Department of Health regarding whether or not we were even using the right metric to determine when action should be taken. So that's one issue that I think needs to be looked at. I noticed in the filing that OPC made this morning that there were a lot of extensive revisions they were suggesting that are almost in the realm of housekeeping. I don't intend on sort of working through that all today. My suggestion is that we will create a work group that'll be supervised by a commission advisor, Mr. Sproul, to work forward on this. But my intention is to actually have new regulations in place that can be active by the next summer season, because again, I'm very concerned that the current practices and policies do not adequately protect customers during that time period. And even though I realize it's ironic that we're talking about the summertime heat waves on what may be the coldest day this winter so far, but that being said, I'm concerned that summer heat situations are going to reoccur. And so it's my suggestion that we constitute a work group to examine the regulations top to bottom, with the goal of having new regulations in place that be in effect for the start of summer in 2025. And I'll invite anybody else who wants to make any comments on that. Commissioner Richard, let me start with you.
Yeah, I just briefly, I agree with everything you said. I think we do need to have some updates, some revisions, and some improvements in customer protections in these regulations. So look forward to making those. I think it is important we do have a process where everyone can get together and get as close as possible to consensus. I don't think there's going to be consensus, but I think just to get the right language, but just improvements. I'm concerned about again, this is an essential service becoming even more essential to people. It's getting more and more expensive. We need to make sure that we don't cut people off, and if that's getting close, that we do all we can to keep them in with service. I'm just concerned about the customer experience. It's not always easy to work with utilities, and so I think that's part of what we need to know. What is the what is a customer going to go through? Are they responsive? Are they making sure it doesn't become a bureaucratic experience? That they make sure that again, that they get the help they need as quickly as possible. So anyway, I'll just stop there and say I like the approach that you're taking. We need these reforms, and so I'll look forward to again seeing a product very soon and in time for summer, so that we can get quickly behind them.
Mr. Barbie.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I completely agree with your approach here. This is very, very important. To bring it down to sort of a very concrete human level, as many of you know, my wife and I sold our houses, and we rent an apartment in Rockville Town Center. And one of our neighbors, 2 floors down, is a lovely woman who is bedridden, and she is on oxygen. And she is a person for whom an outage is a very personally life-threatening situation. And ordinarily I don't make suggestions for things, but in this instance, in the list of people who could trigger a decision, I wanted to include licensed social workers, because in her case, she very rarely, she only sees a doctor or a nurse when she leaves her premises, which she has to be taken out by wheelchair by stretcher, because she's bedridden, but she almost never sees a physician. But she does have social workers who come to her residence on a weekly basis, and if there were a life-threatening situation for her, to give you an idea, I have the keys to her apartment, so if there's a fire alarm or something, I always go to her apartment, and I make sure that the authorities know who she is and what her situation is, and if it's a real fire, I've been deputized to make sure nothing untoward happens, but it has always occurred to me that whenever there's a power failure, I call her up or I go and visit her, because she is on oxygen, and fortunately, not having oxygen for a half hour or something is not an imminent life-threatening situation. But it's my hope that for a person such as her, that we would be able to include licensed social workers as being a person who can make a recommendation as to whether or not there's a health threatening situation for her. So I just want for this work group to always be aware of the very basic human element associated especially with the frail and the elderly. So that's my comment. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, and I'm, as going last, I'm going to sort of have a large ditto. I agree with everything that's been said so far, and I appreciate the chair's comments about the importance of the work that this work group will be doing. But I want the work group at least to take from me the great importance of getting this right. We're talking about life and death. People who require, and we're at a place right now in how we do things where electricity really needs to be a right and not a privilege. It's how people exist, and so what is the goal in making changes to the regulations? The goal needs to be about saving lives. We cannot put lives at risk. To Commissioner Barvey's recommendation, we can't put sort of impediments to be able to demonstrate need. You know, having requiring a doctor to sign a note if it's going to cost them additional money to go to a doctor just to get that note to prevent their lights from being turned off. That's not what we want. That's not meeting our goal of ensuring that we're saving lives. And it just seems to me that the presumption always should be in favor of no disconnection. So we need to find ways of ensuring that the lights always stay on for every resident in Maryland. And so that's what I would like the work group to take, at least from me, is we need to try to put in place every sort of safety net to make sure that we save lives, because it really is about life and death when you're turning off electricity. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
So, in being cognizant of the suggestion I've gotten about us being, specific in our instructions to the work group, when we issue the follow-up order with this, I will review and consider all the comments that have been presented to us when we give direction to the work group as to what issues we want to be considered by the group and hopefully reach some consensus on. And to the extent you can't, then we'll deal with that somewhere down the road. Now, if there's anyone who has a different idea, I mean, I guess I'm willing to listen to it, but I think you kind of heard from us at least the path that we want to take to deal with this issue. So, yeah, go ahead, sure. Ms. Peltier, do you? Oh, okay. Okay, all right.
We recognize them.
All right, okay. So with that, we're adjourned for today. Thank you.
Okay, so no problem getting to my medical appointment.
neighbors and
There?
speakers is great.
Yep, can you still hear